Every morning on his way to work, Tommy Cole passed Dawson's old junkyard. Behind a leaning chain-link fence, half hidden by the Johnson grass, sat a faded blue Kenworth. It once belonged to Tommy's daddy, a man he barely had time to know. And every time he passed that truck, he'd slow down just a little and remember all he could. He remembered diesel mornings and a thermos by the seat, his daddy's weathered hands upon a wheel worn smooth and neat. He remembered climbing in the cab when he was barely 3, and his daddy saying, "Someday, son, you'll drive this rig for me." But fever took his daddy before Tommy turned 5, and that old blue Kenworth never made another highway drive. It wound up in the junkyard where the rust and briars grew, but beneath that faded paint remained the truck his father knew. There's a Kenworth in the weeds with my childhood in the cab. There's a shadow at the wheel that still reminds me of my dad. Though the tires have all gone flat and the old blue paint is peeled, I'd give anything to drive it once, that Kenworth in the weeds. The years rolled by like mileposts. Tommy's hair turned streaked with gray, but he never failed to glance across that junkyard twice a day. Sometimes he'd pull beside the fence and stand there in the rain, talking to that silent truck like his daddy heard his name. He'd say, "I never got to know you, but I've tried to do you proud. And when I hear an old Cummins run, I still can hear you now. If I could turn that key one time and take her down the road, I believe that I could feel your hand helping guide that heavy load." There's a Kenworth in the weeds with my childhood in the cab. There's a shadow at the wheel that still reminds me of my dad. Though the tires have all gone flat and the old blue paint is peeled, I'd give anything to drive it once, that Kenworth in the weeds. Then the doctor spoke one winter day in a quiet, solemn tone. "The sickness that took your father has now become your own." Soon Tommy traded highways for a narrow hospital room, while beyond the frosted window, cold December shadows loomed. As the illness pulled him under, he would whisper in his sleep about an old blue Kenworth sitting silent in the weeds. The nurses thought he wandered through a fevered memory, but Tommy knew that somewhere that old truck still waited faithfully. Then one evening, just before sunset, Tommy opened his eyes. Down in the hospital parking lot, a pair of headlights came around the corner. There was a low, familiar rumble, and a long air horn sounded twice. Pulling beneath his window was that old blue Kenworth. But the rust was gone, the chrome shined like silver, and there wasn't a single weed wrapped around its wheels. The driver climbed down slowly in a worn-out leather coat, with a truck stop pin upon his cap and a red rag at his throat. Though Tommy hadn't seen that face since he was just a child, he knew his daddy instantly when the man looked up and smiled. Tommy felt no pain then as he rose up from his bed. He heard his daddy's gentle voice as clearly as he said, "I know you've waited all these years, and I'm sorry it took so long. But she's fueled and ready, son, and tonight you're driving home. There was a Kenworth in the weeds, but she's rolling free tonight, with Tommy sitting at the wheel and his daddy by his side. They're climbing through the clouds now where the endless highway gleams, and he finally got to drive the truck that carried all his dreams. The nurse entered Tommy's room just after the sun went down. He was lying peacefully with a smile upon his face, and one hand curled gently as though it still held a steering wheel. Then, somewhere far beyond the hospital, she heard an old diesel gathering gears, and one long air horn rolling home across the night.